Okay, hey guys, we're going to talk today about proverbs and adages. So, this is a type of figurative language, um, and basically it's just a short statement that represents general truth. Typically, you'll find something like a proverb or an adage when you're looking inside a fortune cookie. It's something that's just true for pretty much everyone. So you see that picture right there, it's a fortune cookie and it says success in business has nothing to do with luck. And that's just general truth. It's true to everybody. Um, yeah, if you're going to be successful in business, you got to work hard and you got to do a lot more than just be lucky. All right, so let's stop for just a second. What is the difference between a proverb and an adage? Both of them deal with a general truth, but a proverb typically has a bit of advice with it, while an adage usually does not. It doesn't have advice, it's just something that's just a true statement. And we're going to look at these. You've heard them all your life. I know you have. So when you look at these, you're going to go, oh, I know what that is. All right. So some common proverbs. All right, look right here on this side of the screen. All right. One is a bad workman always blames his tools. That means someone who's working is always going to blame their tools. They might, if they're working on a birdhouse and it doesn't come out exactly the way they wanted. Well, this wood was warped. This wood wasn't good. This, if they're baking cookies, well, this oven wasn't set right. It wasn't right. It means that someone who doesn't work well always blames something else. The next one, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. That that goes back to when people had to catch their own food and that kind of thing, and they're saying the bird that you have is worth way more than the two that are sitting in the bush that you don't have. You're not going to let the one that's in your hand go to get two other ones. And basically, that's talking about now these days. If you say something like that, it's saying, don't chase after something you don't have when you have something perfectly good. If you're talking about, like if you want a new toy and what you'd have to do is give up a perfectly good one that you have that's just like what you want. Don't give up the one that you have. That'd be silly. The next one, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. That's talking about if you think about like a chain, they have different little links, and if you have a weak link in the chain's going to break. It's not going to help you. So typically, a chain is usually talking about people, and a weak link would be somebody who's not pulling their weight. So if their weakest person's not doing so well, then the chain's going to break. It's not going to work. Actions speak louder than words. You guys have heard this one before. I know you have. Um, but it's talking about how what you do says a lot more about who you are as a person than what you say. That's why we always try to make sure that we act the way that we speak and that we are do a good job and we don't tell lies and we have good integrity. Right? A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. So I'm out. If you're going to take a long journey, you got to take that first step. If you're going to try to achieve something, if you're going to make a big goal for yourself, you got to take that first step, and you just kind of keep taking steps until you're done. So if that goal is to read 100 books, then you got to start with the first one. If that goal is to run a mile in 10 minutes, you got to start with that first step in running that mile. So there's always, those big goals, you always start with that first little bitty step. All good things come to an end. So that's talking about when you have all these different good things, eventually that has to stop. So those are just a few examples of proverbs. Now let's look over on this side. Look at the adages. Birds of a feather flock together. That means people with common interests, people with um, common beliefs, they typically work together. And it's just the truth. There's no advice there. It's just that's what happens. If you have something in common with somebody, you're going to want to be near them. Just like birds, typically you don't see a flock that has different types of birds. It's usually all geese, or it's all bluebirds, or it's all cardinals. They're usually the ones that flock together. Next one, opposites attract. That means people who see things a little bit differently typically are attracted to each other. Don't judge a book by its cover. So you can't just look at the cover to know what the book says. That's also talking about people. Um, you know, don't judge based on what you see before you get to know a person. The early bird gets the worm means when you get up early, you work hard, you're going to get a reward for that. Right? Better late than never means it's better to be late than to never do something. If that's an assignment that you need to turn in, if that's something that you want to do, it's better to be late than just never do it. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. So, ventured is a word that means kind of like going out and exploring. So, that means if you don't try something, then you're not going to gain anything. And then the last one, better safe than sorry. And I'm sure you've heard that one before too. It's better to be safe than to regret that and be sorry later. So you take those precautions that you need to. All right, guys. So these are proverbs and adages, and we're gonna be doing a little bit more with that in the next couple of days, and when I come back. So I hope y'all are having a great day, and let me know if you need anything. Thanks.